Hi, today we're going to go through a quick video on how to associate users with user roles and what user roles do. So first off, user roles allow the administrator to control what screens users get into. So every user, if we look at the user list box inside of System Manager, has a role, has a default user role. And then that user role, which is defined under user roles, says what screens that user can get into. So inside of General Ledger, you might want someone to be able to get into general journals but not review the historic GL account detail. If that was the case, you'd click on for general journals and click off for GL account detail. Now, that is going to lay out by menu item in the system. Now we do have on top of that screen permissions, where if you wanted to add a screen permission to a specific screen like General Journal, you could reduce the actual control inside that screen by adding General Journal. This is going to take a second to enumerate absolutely every single module and every single screen inside the system. And you can give a deeper level of permissions inside of that selection. Hi, today I'm going to show you how to associate user roles with users and control access into the iRely system. So first off, in order to do this, you have to be an administrator inside the system. And we do set up one administrator when we set up the system and give that person access and passwords, and then that person is responsible for maintaining your system from there forward. So I'm going to go inside of System Manager and I'm going to look at the users. So users can be set up from within the screen, but what we've got here is we've got the user and we've got their default user role. So this is where a user gets associated with the user role, and the user role is like what screens they have access to. So that's the first thing, is the user, and the user can be opened by just double clicking, and then you can go into the actual user tab here and you can see the username and the user role. Now, the other thing that we have added inside of user roles is the security policy. So the security policy tells you all the things that can be configured for the respective permissions, right? So this secures your system as far as making sure that the user password is strict enough, and making sure that if they log in a bunch of times, that you can see how many times they logged in and prevent them from coming in. And then you can also see if after a certain number of logins, it's not a robot or someone trying to get into your system by brute force. So this is CAPTCHA, and CAPTCHA pops up a little screen that makes you pick a picture and do something human intelligence level in order to get into the system. The other piece is we do have after hours login, which is preventing people from logging in outside the business hours. You know, some people, that's when a lot of attacks happen. So if you have someone who's just going to be working during the daylight hours, you might want to restrict them down here. Okay, so that's the user perspective. The other part that you might want to know from administration perspective is logon history. As of this version 17 or 16.4, we do have a login history that denotes the user, the date, time, login, and the login results. Okay, and then registers computers if they're using two-factor authentication. So from that respect, that's pretty much what you need to know as far as users and user roles, and that's what you need to set up when you create the user. Okay, now I'm going to close out of this user and I'm going to go into user roles. And inside of user roles, we have a simple interface that shows you all the systems that a specific user role is associated with and what they can do inside of there, like open that screen. Now, if you're on the user role and you forget who belongs, you can see all the group members inside the users tab. Okay. Now, the next piece you could do is go a little deeper. Granular screen permission. So if you want to button down the general ledger a little more by saying, hey, I want to have view only access or view and add, I can do that right here. So this is the screen level permissions, and then the control level permissions. This is like saying on a specific screen like general ledger, do I have the ability to hit the close button, save button, delete button, post button, import new? This controls actually down to the actual control level if you would like. So it gets very detailed, and you just want to be careful that you want to do all the things. The easiest and simplest way is to configure at the menu level. So just I give you that overview and let you have at it. So good luck with this, and if you have any questions, we will be having a couple more videos on this series.